This is K1DBC. The DRC Learning Net will start in 1 minute. All stations, please stand by. Hello and welcome back to the Denver Radio Club Learning Net for June 11th, 2025. It's a great place to learn about ham radio and STEM topics in general, and thankfully we have plenty of combined experience and expertise. This is Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie. My name is Daron. I'm this evening's net control. Tonight we'll be taking your check-ins, comments, questions, updates, and more. We meet every Wednesday, except the third Wednesday of the month at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time on 145.490 and 448.625. Both have a negative offset. You can contact us at elmer@w0tx.org, net@w0tx.org, and most social media at Denver Radio Club. We also stream and archive our nets on youtube.com/Denver Radio Club. So if you'd like to see behind the scenes of the net or visual context, or if you're unable to reach our repeaters, that's an additional way to participate. This net can be broken at any time for emergency or priority traffic by using the word break. Is there any emergency or priority traffic at this time? All check-ins to the net will be taken in alphabetical groups based on the first letter of the suffix of the operator's call sign. That is the first letter after the number in the call sign. If you can, please try to use ITU phonetics for your call sign and indicate if you have traffic or questions as you check in. You can also follow along with check-ins if you'd like. w0tx.org/check-in. With that, if your suffix begins with the letters A through M, Alpha through Mike, please check in now.
Kilo 0 Lima Papa Romeo, Lanier and Inglewood.
Alpha Foxtrot 0, Alpha Sierra, Dave and Evergreen.
WD0 CIV, WD0 CIV Charles in Denver, no traffic.
All right, this is net control. We'll hold up there for just a moment. Net control would like to welcome the knowledge of the following check-ins: K0LPR Lanier, AF0AS Dave, WD0CIV Charles, and we just had Ben in Aurora, K5AFO for checking in. Thanks everyone for checking in. All right, once more, if your call suffix begins with the letters A through M, Alpha through Mike, please check in now.
K9BYU, Kilo 9, Bravo Yankee uniform, and got a comment.
All right, that time we had K9BYU. Russell with a comment. We'll get back to here in just a few minutes. All right, we'll open up the whole alphabet. We're taking all call signs, all call suffixes. Let us know your call sign, your name. And if you have any traffic questions, A through Z, please call now.
0TX repeater.
Alpha Echo 0, Romeo Kilo, Fred in Denver. No traffic.
November 0, Tango Romeo Papa, Jim in Lakewood. Good evening.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I'd like to welcome all of the following check-ins. AE0RK Fred, N0TRP Jim, and then we just had online checking in Pete from Denver, KE0TSF. Thank you all so much for checking in. Once more, we're taking all call signs, all call suffixes. Let us know your call sign, your name, and if you have any traffic or questions, please call now.
Kilo Echo 0, Sierra Uniform Mike, Jonathan, Lakewood. Kilo Echo 0, Sierra Uniform Mike, Jonathan, Lakewood.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control, Tyrone. I'd like to welcome knowledge of following check-in, KE0SUM. Jonathan, I got you checked in. Thanks so much for checking in. Once more, we're taking all call signs, all call suffixes. This is about an hour-long meeting, just a general get-together, Q&A about ham radio and STEM topics. So if you'd like to check in, we're taking all call signs, all call suffixes. Please call now. Okay, nothing heard just at the moment. Again, you're more than happy to check in at any given time. We'll take check-ins throughout the net, though. With that, we had Russell, K9BYU, with a comment. The net is yours.
Yeah, I think you can disregard that comment. This is K9BYU. I was thinking that the one of the repeaters wasn't working. Because I was sitting over there with not hearing anything, but it happened to be the location I was in. So sorry about that. I'll turn it back over to you, K9BYU.
No problem. Not a problem at all. Yeah, please don't ever hesitate. If you do have issues with our repeaters, don't hesitate to get a hold of us. Yeah, thanks for letting us know. With that, this is K1DBC Net Control. Anyone else? Comments or questions? I see a comment in our YouTube chat about Field Day. We could probably talk about that a little bit. That's coming up here in just a couple of weeks. Anyone else, though, at the moment? Please call now. Okay, nothing heard just at the moment. Again, we talked about it last week, but our field day coming up June 28th and 29th, 12 p.m. on Saturday through 12 p.m. on Sunday. So we'd love to see you out there at the Prospect Arena in Arvada, 13805 West 52nd Avenue. More information on our website, w0tx.org/field day. I just went up there to post our sign, post notice, and things are looking pretty good. If you were there last year, There was a lot of parking on the left-hand side. Once you enter the arena, there is still plenty of parking, but there's a huge mound of dirt now for some reason, and I don't think it's going to be removed, but there's still plenty of space for parking, plenty of space for everyone out there. So again, we'd love to see you out there, or any other field days that you can attend. Please don't hesitate to do so, because these are a lot of fun, showing off ham radio and making as many contacts as we can. Let me drop for a moment. Again, Field Day is Ham Radio's open house. Every June, more than 40,000 hams throughout North America set up temporary transmitting stations in public places to demonstrate ham radio's science, skill, and service to our communities and our nation. It combines public service, emergency preparedness, community outreach, and technical skills, all in a single event. Field Day has been an annual event since 1933 and remains the most popular event in ham radio. Objective is to contact as many stations as possible on the HF bands 160 through 10, as well as bands 50 megahertz and above, and to learn to operate in abnormal situations in less than optimal conditions. So, in previous years, we have there's some photos and some things that you can see from past years. So we have had pretty bad rain, so please dress for that. With that, anyone else on our field day or anything else? Please call now. All right. Yeah, we look forward to seeing people out there. A comment in the chat here by Ben, K5AFO. He's looking forward to Field Day, hoping to bring a couple of newly licensed friends along to introduce to the DRC. So, yeah, we'd love to see them out there. It's a great opportunity to meet and greet and put faces to names and things like that. So, with that, anyone else, comments or questions? We just had another check-in here, K0BF, checking in online. Thank you so much for checking in. I believe that was Dustin. Anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins, anything else? Please call now. All right. Anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins, anything else at the moment? Please call now.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, Romeo Papa Sierra, Rick and Watkins, in and out.
All right, excellent. KF0RPS. Rick, got you checked in. Thank you so much for checking in here. Anyone else? We have plenty of time here still. I certainly can bring up some things, but anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins, anything else? Please call now.
K9BYU with a question.
Yes, go ahead, Russell. K9BYU, the net is yours.
Yeah, it's about the mesh tactics. I'm just kind of curious because I've been trying to do a little bit of more research on it, and I couldn't figure out if it's kind of like some of the hot spots where you buy it and then you have to get like the separate board, the Raspberry Pi to stick on the hot spot, or are they coming fully operational? Some of them that I've seen, they're like about $40 or so, and it seems like they need another board, and I'm not sure what other board would go on it. So that's kind of my question.
W0TX repeater.
Great question. Yeah, anyone on that Meshtastic? This is a project that enables you to use inexpensive LoRa radios, long range off-grid communication platform in areas without existing or reliable communications. It's 100% community-driven, decentralized long range these. I have not used them, but I thought you could just buy a radio and it would just connect to a mesh that's around you. But anyone else on that, has anybody worked with Meshtastic or LoRa in any of these devices? Go right ahead.
Question.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Again, just to reiterate, these are kind of like, they look like Blackberries, an old Blackberry device, and it's also in other little form factors. With that, KE0SUM with a question.
Yeah, Russell, K9BYU. How far have you gone into Meshtastic? I've had questions about this. I asked one on a different net about a month ago because I think it's fascinating, but I haven't gotten into it yet. Maybe you could explain it a little more? KE0SUM, back to net.
K9BYU. Well, Jonathan, I really am just trying to figure it all out. It was my understanding that you could actually put an app on an old phone and actually still be able to connect to like a node, and then that node will connect out into the rest with the other web of devices out there. So I don't really know a whole lot about it. I'm just now starting to learn about it, and I was just looking at trying to buy the nodes and just trying to figure out if I need something else that goes along with it, or is it all in one, or what. So that's just kind of what I'm trying to figure out.
TRP.
Yeah, great follow-up there. And yeah, there is some apps that you can tie in. Some of these devices have no screens built into them. So yeah, you would use an app on your phone. And it's basic communications, chat protocol back and forth, essentially. You could send GPS information, things like that. We had N0TRP. Jim, go right ahead.
This N0TRP, just toss in there that there is a website, meshtastic.org, that's got some helpful information on there. N0TRP, back to net.
AS0AS comment.
Excellent. Thanks for the follow-up there, Jim. Yeah, meshtastic.org. Plenty of information on there. Also, denvermesh.org. Maybe some Denver-based mesh information. Lots of information on there, as well as meshmap.net. So you can see what's available out there for you. So great resources. We also then had, I believe it was AF0AS. Go right ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say most of the LoRa gear that's out there, at least a large part of it, are commercially available development kits for the ESP32 chipset with built-in LoRa transceivers and antennas. So pretty much that's all the hardware you need. You just need the Meshtastic firmware on top of that chipset.
Excellent. Sounds good. Perfect. Yeah, it sounds like it is available in kit form maybe, and maybe there's some other that are already pre-built with everything and with all the hardware built in. I think the LilyGo T-Deck I'm looking at here looks like it should have everything built into it. You kind of just select your options, frequencies. It has some built-in firmware into it, but I'm sure you can flash whatever else you need onto it. But yeah, you can probably very much similar to the MMDVM, the Pi-Star kits. It's probably similar in terms of that, where you could probably do it in kit form, or you can buy something pre-built. With that, anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins, anything else on Meshtastic or Mesh Radios? Please call now. All right, yep, plenty of information on YouTube. It's been quite popular over the last few years, and a lot of YouTubers have covered a lot of different aspects of it. So yeah, definitely check out YouTube. Ham Radio Crash Course is one great one. Andy Kirby, who's based in the UK, another great YouTuber, has a lot of good information on that. So plenty of information online. Anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins? Please call now. All right, so this is, again, K1DBC Net Control, Meshtastic, license-free, off-grid, decentralized messaging. So, pretty interesting stuff here. Anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins? Please call now.
Kilo Foxtrot 0 Alpha Victor Lima, Jeff and Centennial. I had a question about Meshtastic and its use cases.
Excellent, KF0AVL. Jeff, got you checked in and got some questions on Meshtastic. Go right ahead. The net is yours.
Yeah, just a quick question. Is the intent for the Meshtastic, is it just to have some kind of a, decentralized form of communication when you're off hunting or camping, or am I missing, or maybe grid down situation, or is there some other use cases that I'm not understanding?
No, yep, that would be it. Places where you don't have cell phone service. It's also kind of popular with the prepper community. If things go down, etc. So that's also just another aspect of it. It's really, LoRa is mostly used for monitoring farming equipment or agriculture equipment and stuff. It's really meant to send soil data and temperature and things like that. That's really what it's originally intended for. It's just it's been adopted by a community to adopt it for just decentralized communications. Long range, no phone required, encrypted communication, excellent battery life, send, receive text messages, optional GPS location. There's probably a lot more to it, but I have not really messed around with it. But anyone else? Or Jeff, if you have any follow-up on that, go right ahead.
0TX repeater.
TRP.
There was another use case, but I'll go ahead. N0TRP, Jim, go right ahead.
This N0TRP. Yeah, my understanding it is primarily going to be in an area where you have it's a mesh network, kind of like the mesh Wi-Fi networks, kind of the same idea, but it's all wireless, and all the nodes are wireless, so you're going to need to be in range of another low-power node, so probably not going to be used out in the field or hunting or anywhere outside a metropolitan area where you don't have lots of nodes there. N0TRP back to net.
Gotcha. Thanks for the follow-up on that. And another use case I did think of, which actually is being used practically, is with the Aries deck, Colorado Aries for Douglas and Elbert County. They're using it for APRS, essentially, during their for when they support different cycling events and different marathons, things like that. So they use it for, a combination of how are they using it? Aries R1D5 are using LoRa and APRS to primarily experiment with GPS tracking. Via LoRa is accomplished via 2 device configurations, an eye gate and a tracker. Listens for the LoRa signal when it receives an APRS position. It reports it on APRS website. So that is functionality they are using it for. Let's see. They also say some members have a LoRa eye gate set up at home, so it's probably be like a mesh type repeater. Let me drop. Some have trackers in their vehicle. They take them on walks and hikes. So it looks like mesh, as it were, with APRS and some functions for us as well. So anyone else? Comments, questions, anything else? Yeah, Meshtastic, it looks pretty cool. So yeah, if you haven't played around with it, it's probably just another device that might sit on a shelf at some point. But yeah, if you have a use case for it or a scenario, yeah, check it out. This is K1 DBC Net Control, 7:55 p.m. Mountain Time. Anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins? Please call now.
What's a comment, Ron?
Okay, if I missed a comment in there, or if someone was trying to call in there, go right ahead. Sorry about that.
Yes, sir, yes. Yeah, I was just looking up the LoRa specs. They claim up to 10 miles, 16 kilometers in rural, low-density areas under line of sight, and around 3 miles in urban areas for range, station to station for the LoRa, which should be the same for Meshtastic. Yes, sir, yes, clear.
SUM comment.
Excellent. Really do appreciate that follow-up there. And then we had a comment from SUM. Go right ahead.
Well, given that information, it's not particularly long distance, and it's using nodes the way I understand it, so I'm not sure I see the advantage. Why not just be on a VHF repeater? You're going to get a lot further in mileage. At least it seems that way to me. SUM back to that.
Good point. Yep. If you are a licensed operator, absolutely, it is. Why not just do that? And so, yep. This is for unlicensed, licensed free. So it's really for open to anybody at this point. So that's why there's that limitation there. So yeah, great follow up. Anyone else? We had a comment in here from K0TSF. Haven't gotten into it, but watched Ham Radio Dude on YouTube, who has a series on it. So another good resource there as well. Comments, questions, check-ins. Please call now.
K0YR, good evening.
All right, excellent. AE0YR, good evening. Ed, got you checked in. Glad to hear you. Anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins, anything else? Please call now.
AVL comment.
I think that was AVL, Jeff, or whoever had a comment. Go right ahead.
Yeah, this is Jeff. Kind of on the same line with the Meshtastic piece of it. I guess, what are some of you guys using in regards to digital modes, whether it's rig to rig, like if I'm trying to send some kind of a short messages or even the emails. I know that WinLink, I'm trying to read up on that, but just throwing it out to the group, any digital modes to transmit data back and forth.
Great question there. Yeah, WinLink is a good option there. Still available, still works. FT8 for contesting purposes is quite popular. What else? Yeah, I'm not too sure. I've haven't done too much of that myself. But anyone else? Digital messaging you could do through your radio. Go right ahead.
K9BYU with a comment.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control, and again, there are DMR, D-Star type radios, things like that. There is messaging available through that. K9BYU, Russell, go right ahead.
Yeah, there's one that I'm just learned about not too long ago, and I have just recently just kind of got started in trying to learn about it, which works in the same way and is based off the same principles of FT8. It's called JS8 call, I think is what it was. But it works on keyboard to keyboard, HF frequencies, and it's on the same basis of the FT8, but instead of having basically set messages going across, that you can actually, type out a message and send it going keyboard to keyboard. You can actually have a conversation. Don't know a whole lot of details on it. Like I said, I just heard about it and just started learning on it.
Excellent. Thanks for the follow-up on there. Yeah, js8call.com for more information on that. Derivative of WSJTX, restructured and redesigned for message passing using a custom FT8 modulation called JS8. It's always open source and free. Anyone else on that or anything else? Go right ahead.
0TX repeater.
AVL follow-up comment?
Yeah, go ahead with the comment follow-up. Please go right ahead.
Yeah, with that JS8 call, is that, I guess, is it similar? I'm still learning about it too, but is it, you need a laptop or some kind of a tablet to run that? Or is that one of those that you can run from just a mobile app, AVL?
This is a K1 DBC Net Control. I'm seeing it as an app. I'm seeing someone running it on a Raspberry Pi. I'm also seeing it running on Windows 10 as well. So it is a laptop-based scenario, it looks like. Yes, some sort of computer. There might be an app. I'm not too sure, but it definitely would need to connect into a radio somehow. This is K1 DBC Net Control. Okay, this is K1 DBC Net Control looking on their download site. Yep, Mac, Windows, Raspberry Pi, Linux. Probably not on a phone. Brief and blurb on their software. It's an experiment to test feasibility of digital mode with the robustness of FT8 combined with a messaging and network protocol for weak signal communications on HF using a keyboard message style interface. It is not designed for any specific purpose other than connecting amateur radio operators who are operating under weak signal conditions. Heavily inspired by FT8, FLDigi, FS8, FSQ call. So anyone else? Any other options? I think there was one I was trying to think of. I couldn't remember it. But comments, questions, anything else on that? Go right ahead.
I'll just throw it out to the group. This is ABL. I've been playing around with SodaMate. I jumped on the net I think it was a month or two ago. And since then, I've used it a few times to spot my location for POTA or SODA, as well as you can actually send out text messages or pre-scripted emails. So if you haven't, you should probably check out SodaMate if you want to communicate HF to anybody outside of an area using I'm not sure. I think they use PSK reporter. I'm not sure what they're using, but again, to just be able to send out signals and have pre-scripted messages.
Excellent. Very cool stuff. SOTAMAT.com. Very cool. Yeah. Really awesome documentation here. Let me see. Have you tried activating a Soda Peak or POTA Park but had trouble self-spotting? Do you feel quote-unquote dirty self-spotting in amateur radio activity with non-amateur cell phone or satellite methods? Do you wish you had a simple way to find summit to summit and park to park opportunities in the moment? That is what SodaMate does. One way, so just more information on their site. Lots of really cool, lots of information. SOTAMAT.com. All right, with that, we also had a check-in on the line, AE0LT. Ed, thank you for checking in here. I was trying to find one. I can't remember what it was called. I thought it was like Pickle or Cucumber or something like that, but it's like an Android app for, I think, ham radio communications or something like that. If you remember what that was, let me know. But yeah, there's plenty of options out there. Anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins? Please call now.
Are you thinking of Droid Star? K9BYU.
I don't think so. No, I remember this other app had a really funny name to it. But yeah, another great option in there. It looks like Droid Star. Really cool. Anyone else? Please call now. Okay. It is 8:07 p.m. We have another 20 or so minutes. If anybody else has any other comments, questions, or check-ins, we're taking all check-ins, all comments. Please call now. All right. Anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins? Please call now. Okay, I can certainly bring up an article or two. Throw it back to the net here. Let's see, a article over on hackaday.com, written on June 4th by Dan Maloney, titled High Stakes Fox Hunting, the FCC's Radio Intelligence Division in World War II. With few exceptions, amateur radio is a notably sedentary pursuit. Yes, some hams will set up a national or state park for parks on the air activation. In particular, energetic operators may climb a mountain. Let me see. Let's see. It's a bit of a lengthy article here, so I'll try to skim what I can. Let's see. Just as fox hunting is popular with ham radio, Wow, I lost my place here. Fox hunts serve a more serious purpose. They train hams in the finer points of radio direction finding, a skill that can be used to track down everything from man-made noise sources to unlicensed operators. Or, as was done in the 1940s, to ferret out foreign agents using shortwave radio to transmit intelligence overseas. That was the primary mission of the Radio Intelligence Division, a rapidly assembled organization tasked with protecting the United States by monitoring the airwaves and searching for spies. The RID proved to be remarkably effective during the war years, in part because it drew heavily from the amateur radio community to populate its many field stations, but also because it brought an engineering mindset to the problem of finding needles in a radio haystack. Bit of a lengthy article here. Let me see if I'll just skip quite a bit of it. Once a candidate signal was detected and headquarters alerted to its frequencies, characteristics, and perhaps even its contents, orders went out to the primary stations to begin triangulation. Primary stations were equipped with radio direction finding equipment, including the Adcock type gynometer, G-O-N-I-O meter. These were generally wooden structures elevated above the ground with a distinctive Adcock antenna on the roof of the shack. It was used variation using two vertical dipoles on a steerable mount. They were connected to the receiver gear in the shack 180 degrees out of phase. This produced a radiation pattern with very strong nulls broadside to the antenna, making it possible for operators to determine the precise angle to the source by rotating the antenna array until the signal is minimized. With a rough location determined, RID mobile teams would hit the streets. They had a fleet of mobile units based on commercial Ford and Hudson models, custom built for undercover work. Radio gear partially filled the backseat area, power supplies filled the trunk, and a small steerable loop antenna could be deployed through the roof for radio direction finding on the go. Mobile units were also equipped with special radio sets for communicating back to their primary stations, using the VHF band to avoid creating unwanted targets for the other stations to monitor. Last bit here. Between 1940 and 1944, the RID investigated tens of thousands, resulting in 400 unlicensed stations being silenced. Not all of these were nefarious. One unlucky teenager in Portland, Oregon ran afoul by hooking an antenna up to a record player so he could play DJ to his girlfriend down the street, but other operations led to the capture of 200 spies, including a shipping executive who used his ships to refuel Nazi U-boats operating the Gulf of Mexico, and the famous Desunk, I can't pronounce that word, spy ring operating in Long Island. Thanks in large part to the technical prowess of the hams populating its ranks, the RID's success contained the seeds of its downfall. Normally, such an important self-defense task as preventing radio espionage would fall to the Army or Navy, but neither organization had the technical expertise in 1940, nor did they have the time to learn, given how woefully unprepared they were for the coming wars. Both branches eventually caught up, though, and neither appreciated a bunch of civilians mucking around on their turf. Turf battles ensued, politics came into it, and by 1944, budget cuts effectively ended the RID as a standalone agency. So I skipped quite a lot on there, but hackaday.com, high-stakes fox hunting, the FCC's Radio Intelligence Division in World War II. All right, I'll throw it out to the group. It's 8:13. Anyone else? Comments, questions on that, or anything else? Please call now.
Comment, KE0SUM.
Jonathan, KE0SUN with the question. Go ahead.
Well, I don't know. I didn't hear it earlier, but I believe there's a VHF contest this weekend on Saturday. So it's on the national calling frequency, 15652. But it's interesting to think about, because if you're doing a VHF contact, you're going to want to use power and an antenna, because this is simplex. So there's a limit to your range, because I don't know if you're allowed to use single sideband or not. But I think it's interesting. A friend of mine is heading up to the mountains where you can get elevation and try and make the contacts he'd like. I just thought I'd throw it out there. If you're listening on Saturday, there may be a bunch of traffic on the national calling frequency, VHF.
All right, sounds good. I'm not sure if it's the one I'm looking at here, arl.org/June-VHF. Second full weekend in June. Yep, so that would be this coming weekend, the 14th through the 16th. More information on the ARL website on the June VHF contest. Very cool. All right, contest objective for amateurs in the U.S. and Canada to work as many amateur stations is in as many different 2 degrees by 1 degree Maidenhead grid squares as possible using authorized frequencies above 50 megahertz. Stations outside the U.S. and Canada may only work stations in the U.S. and Canada. Again, second full weekend, this 14th and 16th. 1800 UTC Saturday begins, and then 0259 UTC Monday. Participants in the FM only can now count contests made on 902 megahertz and 1.2. More information on the ARL website. It's also been a few weeks since Dayton Hamvention. I wonder if anybody here attended that, or if anybody had follow up on that. We haven't spoken too much about that, I don't think. But anybody attended that or had more information on that, go right ahead. All right, this is K1 DVC Net Control. What reminded me of that was KE0TSF in the YouTube chat was mentioning Meshtastic was talked about at Dayton quite a bit this year. Ham radio, ham YouTubers were using it there. So really cool stuff. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. So yeah, another great way for messaging in just another way of communicating. So anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins, anything else? Go right ahead. Okay, we have another 13 or so minutes. Anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins? I can certainly bring up another article or so, but anyone else for the net? Again, Field Day coming up in a couple of weeks. More information on our website, w0tx.org, under Events and Field Day. Prospect Arena, June 28th and the 29th. More information on the ARL page as well, arl.org/Field Day. Awesome to see people out there. Really a great event. So we'd love to see people out there again this year at Prospect Arena in Arvada. Again, more information, w0tx.org/Field Day. You can also find some photos on there from past years. So we look forward to that. Next week, we have a meeting still to be announced on what the topic is. Last month, we didn't have a presenter, so we watched a film on a pretty interesting one. Let me drop for a moment. I'm struggling to find that. Let me see if I can find that there. But if we don't have a presenter again this month, we'll probably do something similar. So yeah, we're looking for presenters. If anybody is interested, please don't hesitate to let them know, to give us a call or send us an email. Or if you're ever interested in giving a presentation, we'd also love to see that as well. So with that, anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins? We have another 10 or so minutes. Please call now. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. We had watched a video from, I believe it was the Antique Wireless Association, AWA Communication Technologies Museum, youtube.com/wireless museum. I'm struggling to find it. Was on vintage law enforcement surveillance. So pretty interesting. Again, this was pre-recorded, but if you're ever interested, this is a 40-minute video. You can go ahead and watch it on your own time about how law enforcement, Dan Murphy, Microwave on YouTube, had a career to be involved with the design of law enforcement surveillance radios, and he met some of the colorful personalities who pioneered these controversial technologies. In this presentation, he tells the story of the people and companies that created surveillance devices that remain secret for decades, some of which still haven't seen the light of day. So more information, again, on their YouTube page, youtube.com/wireless museum. This video is titled Vintage Law Enforcement Surveillance Radio.
0TX repeater.
All right, anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins? Please call now. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. If you're looking on my YouTube page, I have a this ham dashboard set up. It's made by VA3 HDL. Pretty just slick looking dashboard. You just download it, and it's just some HTML files, and you edit it. And you can edit in the app itself. Pretty neat little setup here. So if you're interested in a kind of something like a geochron or a ham clock, another option is ham dashboard. This is K1 DBC Net Control. Anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins? Please call now. All right, nothing heard just yet. I'll throw it out there. We have another 8 or so minutes. I certainly can bring up another article, but anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins? Please call now. Let's see some recent news. Step IR, if you've heard of them, they are stopping production at the end of August this year due to several emerging factors. Step IR will cease production of consumer antennas and accessories on August 31st. They'll accept and fulfill all consumer antenna and spare parts orders placed by August 31st. After that, they will sell spare parts as long as supplies are lasting. There'll be no changes in terms of warranty services or technical support. Given their long history of impact and innovation, they don't take this decision lightly, but have decided it is necessary for their ongoing operations and to make sure they can continue to effectively provide their existing customers with product support services. So 7-3 from all of them. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but yeah. Anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins, anything else on that? Go right ahead. Okay. Anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins, anything else? We have another 5 or so minutes. Please call now. Okay, let me see here. Another pretty cool presentation here, also from hackaday.com. They have a conference, an annual conference called SuperCon. So over on their YouTube page, they have a video from about a week ago. Justin McAllister and Nick Foster how to track down radio transmissions. This talk provides a comprehensive guide to identifying and locating radio transmitters. Learn about practical techniques, common tools, and methodologies from decades of combined experience, finding, squashing, and mitigating against radio frequency interference. So pretty cool talk here. You turn the dial on the radio, you hear a powerful source of interference, a crackle over the baseline. You're interested as where it might be coming from. You're receiving it well, and the signal strength is strong, but is that because it's close or just particularly powerful? How would you even go about tracking it down? When it comes to hunting down radio transmitters, Justin and Nick have a great deal of experience in this regard. They came down to the 2024 Hackaday Super Conference to show how it was done. Yeah, this was from last year, I guess. Very cool stuff here, though. Yeah, let's see very quickly on that. They opens the talk by discussing how the first job is often to figure out what you're seeing when you pick up a transmission. Plenty of information in this video. So I would just suggest checking that out if you are interested. This is K1 DBC Net Control. I'll throw it out to the group. Comments, questions, check-ins, please call now.
Quadrature to generate your signal. If those two ADCs are not balanced with each other, you see all.
All right. Anyone else? We have just a few more minutes here. Appreciate everybody checking in. We had 16 check-ins. Pretty active net. Really do appreciate that. So anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins, anything else for this evening's Learning Net? Please call now. Okay, anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins, anything else for the last few minutes of our Learning Net here? Please call now. All right, I will read out skim one last article here, and we'll close the net out. Let me see if I can find something else here real quick. All right, also from hackaday.com, field testing an antenna using a field, written by Jenny List on May 21st. ARL used to have a requirement that any antenna advertised in their publications had to have real-world measurements accompanying it to back up any claims of extravagant performance. They were told that nowadays they will accept computer simulations instead, but it remains true that knowing what your antenna does, rather than just thinking you know what it does, gives you an advantage. They were reminded of this by a recent write-up in which the performance of a mylar sheet as a ground plane was tested at full power with a field strength meter. Because about a decade ago, they set out to characterize an antenna using real-world measurements and readily available equipment. They were in a sense fielding testing it. So of course, the first step of the process was to find a field. The process they were intending to follow was simple enough. Set up an antenna in the middle of a field, have transmit some RF, and measure the signal strength at some points along a series of radial lines away from it. They'd end up with a spreadsheet from which they could make a radial plot that would they would hope give them a diagram showing its performance. Let's see here. It's not too long here. I'll just finish this up. They used a HB9CV 2-element 144 megahertz antenna that they stood and pointed at the ISS many times to watch single sideband or SSTV transmissions. It's made from two-phased half-wave radiators, but it can be seen as something similar to a 2-element Yagi array. They ran a long mains lead output to a plastic garden table with the antenna attached and set up a Raspberry Pi whose clock would produce the RF. Receiver would be an Android tablet with an SDR receiver. Fairly sensitive enough for their purpose. They wouldn't want no significant RF to make it beyond the boundary of the field. They ended up with a page of figures and then a spreadsheet, which they amused to still find in the depths of their project folder. It contains a table of angles of indices to the antenna versus meters from the antenna. And the data points are the figure in the uncalibrated MV that the SDR gave the carrier at that point. A resulting polar plot shows the performance of the antenna at each angle, and unsurprisingly, they proved to themselves their antenna is indeed directional. So, pretty interesting article there. Yeah, just I think they put it quite well. It remains true that knowing what your antenna does rather than just thinking what it does gives you an advantage. So this is K1 DBC Net Control. Just ticked over or so, 8:30 p.m. We'll probably start wrapping things up. But anyone else, last minute comments, questions, check-ins, please call now. Okay, this will be the final call for final check-ins. If you'd like to check in, just for the count, we're taking all call signs, all call suffixes. Let us know your call sign, your name. And if you have any last-minute traffic, please don't hesitate to let us know as well. But we will be wrapping things up in just a few minutes. This is K1DBC. Anyone else? Please call now. Okay, nothing heard. Do appreciate everyone who's checked in. Again, 16 check-ins. Really do appreciate that. We appreciate and thank our club for allowing us to use their repeaters. We appreciate and thank everyone who's checked in just to participate or is being here to help. We do appreciate that. Again, next week we'll have our meeting online, w0tx.org, for more information on that. Still to be announced on the topic. So that will be at 7 p.m. is the meeting, and then at 6 p.m. we have something similar to what we had here this evening. At 6 p.m. we have an Elmers session, just a general Q&A get-together. So, yeah, more information on our website, w0tx.org. With that, I appreciate everyone who's checked in, and with that, this is K1DBC 73, and I will be clear.